is investigating the PGA Tour for its behavior toward LIV Golf and possible antitrust violations. The Saudi-backed LIV Golf Invitational Series has lured some big-name players away from the PGA with signing bonuses of more than $100 million and purses of $25 million for each event. The PGA Tour suspended 17 players who participated in LIV's first event last month. Let's take a deeper dive into this, and for that we welcome Daniel Kelly. He's a professor at the Preston Robert Tisch Institute for Global Sport at NYU. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
So now break this down for us. What specifically is the Department of Justice looking for as far as an antitrust case goes here?
When it comes to an antitrust case, they're looking for levels of monopoly activity. And so monopolistic activity goes about the part of the PGA limiting the opportunities for the golfers in question, which are Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia. These golfers they're actually considered independent contractors. And so them limiting the opportunities for them to play in tournaments that are technically not competing, but the PGA Tour does have extensive rules when it comes to player releases, and you actually need to get permission from the PGA Tour to play in competing tournaments which are around the world. And so the Department of Justice Antitrust Division is actually investigating the actions of the PGA.
Now, this is actually not the first time this has happened. We have this information that way back in 1994, the Federal Trade Commission investigated the PGA Tour for requiring its members to get permission to play in outside tournaments, as you just mentioned. Now, they weren't penalized back then, but now some almost 30 years later, is there a chance they're going to lose this time? The LIV Golf chairman, Greg Norman, who is a major player in the golfing world, he is advocating for the golfers to sue the PGA. And he's had a public battle with PGA chairman Jay Monahan over this issue. And he has called the PGA a monopoly. He has called them anti-golfer, anti-fan, anti-competitive. And so he has 100% pledged to actually fund the court cases for the PGA, ex-PGA golfers against the PGA. Now, the PGA Tour, I learned this just during this LIV Golf situation, but the PGA Tour has nonprofit status, and they said that restricts some of the purses they can give out, some of the money that they're able to pay because they're a nonprofit. Does that have any impact on their status as a monopoly or not a monopoly, the fact that they are considered a not-for-profit organization? I know you're not an attorney, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
The not-for-profit status does not impact directly their ability. It comes down to the releases with the antitrust investigation. And so the previous case with the FTC lacked the backing of the players to actually come forth. And so this time around, with Greg Norman and the players willing to test it out, the bottom line is that the LIV Golf tournament is a disruptor in the marketplace. They are pushing forward with new ways of funding for athletes. The Saudi Arabian sovereign wealth fund called the Public Investment Fund is worth over $620 billion. And they're looking forward to pushing the envelope to getting the player releases, or at least the flexibility to choose as independent contractors which tour they want to compete on.
So the NFL is not a monopoly, but it has a monopoly, if that makes sense. I mean, they've had plenty of competitors over the years, but nothing seems to stick. Is the PGA like the NFL? Does it have a chance to fend off something like the LIV Tour the way the NFL has, where it's just killed every competitor that's come its way?
The NFL also has never gone up against something like the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia, which has more money. I think for the most part, the NFL's competitors don't have the same financial backing to compete directly. And so the LIV Tour with the PGA is going to change the way potential monopolies in professional sports exist. And so I would not be surprised to see other sports looking at this example with the PGA Tour and wondering what's going to happen to them next.
And we are joined again by Daniel Kelly. He's a professor from NYU. And Mr. Kelly, I got one more question for you. This only makes sense for the LIV Tour. Well, I guess it makes sense because Saudi Arabia has a completely bottomless pit of not only oil, but cash, but a TV deal. That's what they're looking for here. They're currently having their events on Facebook and YouTube. Have they started to turn the heads of any of the networks, whether they be broadcast or cable networks? Broadcast cable news, over the top organizations like The Zone, they're all watching closely to see how this plays out. The public investment fund of Saudi Arabia last year purchased Newcastle United from the English